Okay, let's get into it. We're looking at Nvidia Core today, and honestly, the financial scale here is, well, it's staggering.
It really is. The speed of wealth creation we're seeing, it's almost entirely down to this huge demand for AI processors.
Yeah, it feels like more than just a market trend, doesn't it? Like almost a fundamental shift.
Exactly. Our sources suggest this isn't just a temporary boom, it's rewriting some rules.
And that's what we want to unpack in this deep dive. We've got the source materials, and we're going beyond just the headlines.
Right, not just the what the $5 trillion market value, but the how and who.
Yeah, like CEO Jensen Huang selling off a massive chunk of stock recently, $1 billion worth.
And related to that, this sudden cluster of new billionaires popping up inside the company. It's quite something, it really is. So let's start with that big number, $5 trillion. You almost have to just pause and think about that figure for a second. It definitely makes you recalibrate what you think of as a valuable company, especially the speed, like you mentioned.
Okay, so this valuation engine, they hit 5 trillion recently. I think it was a Wednesday, the sources mentioned.
That's right. But the crazy part is the timing. They only passed 4 trillion just 4 months before that.
4 months, that kind of climb. I mean, where's the precedent for that?
Well, that's the thing. It's sort of unprecedented.
Yeah.
And it signals the market isn't viewing Nvidia like, say, a traditional chip maker anymore.
So what is the core driver then, according to the sources? It's pretty clear that relentless, unquenchable demand for their AI processors, they're basically essential now. They're the infrastructure for pretty much every big tech company making an AI pivot.
Yeah, it's not just about selling silicon. They built this whole ecosystem around it, right? The
Uh-huh.
CUDA platform.
Right, that creates this incredible stickiness. Once you're in switching away from NVIDIA hardware, it's really difficult and expensive.
It's a powerful moat. They're not just selling the picks and shovels for the AI gold rush.
Yeah, they kind of own the map and the river, too.
Something like that, yeah. The market seems to believe this demand isn't just cyclical. It's structural. It's here to stay. For a while, at least.
And that belief that external demand translates almost instantly into internal value.
Which leads directly to, well, massive personal wealth for those inside. Equity granted years ago suddenly becomes life-changing money.
Okay, let's pivot to the man at the top then, CEO Jensen Huang. What's the story with his recent stock sales?
So the sources detail this quite clearly. Since about June, he's sold off more than $1 billion worth of Nvidia shares.
$1 billion. And this was part of a pre-planned arrangement, right? Not just a sudden decision.
Exactly. It's important context. It's what's often called a 10b5-1 plan.
Can you maybe briefly explain what that means for listeners who aren't familiar?
Sure, so he adopted this plan back in March. It essentially pre-schedules stock sales, in his case, up to 6 million shares by the end of this year.
And the point of doing that is,
It's mainly to provide a defense against any accusations of insider trading. It shows the decision to sell and the timing was set before he might have had any sensitive non-public info.
okay, so it removes the suggestion he was timing the market based on secret knowledge. But wow, the actual timing worked out incredibly well for him.
Phenomenally well. The sources show when he started selling in late June, that block of shares was worth around $865 million.
Okay.
But since then, the stock has climbed over 40%.
Wow, so he sold into a massive rally that was basically already locked in months before.
Pretty much. Talk about timing, even if pre-planned.
And his overall stake, he still holds a fair bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, he still holds about 3.5% of the company. His total fortune is now estimated at $175.7 billion.
Making him ninth richest on the Bloomberg index. And the growth this year alone is just mind-bending.
$61.3 billion added this year.
It's just hard to comprehend. And this isn't his first big sale over the years, is it?
No. The records show he's sold over $2.9 billion worth since 2001. But it's also worth noting the philanthropic angle the sources mention.
Ah, right, the donations.
Yeah, he's donated shares worth over $300 million this year to his foundation and another fund.
Okay, that adds some important context. But let's move beyond the CEO, because this wealth explosion, it didn't just stop at his office door, did it?
No, not at all. And this is maybe the most unique part of the Nvidia story right now, the sheer distribution of massive wealth creation within the leadership ranks.
Yeah, you called it the billionaire factory, which sounds about right.
It really does. The sources confirm Nvidia now has 7 billionaires among its executives and board members. 7 in one company.
7 people hitting 10 figures. That's not normal, even in tech booms.
It really sets them apart. And maybe even more striking is how many are new billionaires. just this year.
Right, the stock surge minted 3 new ones in 2024 alone.
That's correct. And these aren't just, the original founders reaping rewards from decades ago. These are key operational leaders.
So who are we talking about in this new billionaire class?
Well, the sources name two key executives specifically. First, the chief financial officer, Colette Kress,
Okay, the CFO. Makes sense. Managing the finances of this juggernaut.
and Jay Puri, who's the executive vice president for worldwide field operations, basically head of sales and marketing.
Interesting. So the person managing the money and the person selling the product, both now worth what, about $1.2 billion each?
Roughly, yes, around $1.2 billion each.
That tells you something, doesn't it? The value isn't just tied to the core tech invention, but the execution, getting those chips sold, managing the explosive growth.
Absolutely. It reflects the sheer volume they're moving and the margins they command. And this concentration of wealth isn't just with the current exec team.
Ah, right. The board members, too. Some long-term holders there seeing huge gains.
Exactly. The sources highlight Brooks Sewell. He's another recent addition to the billionaire list.
His net worth is pegged at $1.1 billion, with his heirs included, and he joined the board way back in '97.
Yeah, 1997. Came from a company called Net Dynamics back then. So he's been holding that equity for a long, long time.
Wow. Riding that wave from the early days right through this AI explosion, what does that tell us?
It suggests the underlying equity structure was always valuable, but AI provided the rocket fuel. It turned solid potential into massive realized gains.
And he's not the only director with a huge stake.
Not by a long shot. You've got Tench Cox, who came in via venture capital connection. He's now worth $7.5 billion.
Just joined the world's 500 richest people based on that Nvidia stake.
Then there's Mark Stevens. He's even higher up the list, ranked 247th.
His fortune is $12.5 billion. That's partly from Nvidia, partly his Golden State Warriors ownership, right?
Correct. And another board member, Harvey Jones, holds a position worth $1.5 billion.
The density of it is just remarkable. 7 billionaires connected to one company's leadership.
So with all this internal wealth being generated and quite a bit being sold off, how does this compare to insiders selling at other big tech companies?
That's a really important question. Is this Nvidia activity an outlier or part of a broader trend?
Well, let's look at the broader data from the sources. Nvidia insiders, as a group, including Huang, sold nearly $1.5 billion in stock just through the third quarter.
$1.5 billion in Q3 alone. And the total for 2024 is already over $2 billion.
Yes, which is a huge jump from 2023 when the total was about $462 million.
So selling activity has basically quadrupled year over year.
Roughly, yeah. That kind of volume increase, even if it's mostly through these pre-planned 10b5-1 sales, it does suggest a strong desire to lock in gains at these very high valuations.
Okay, but how does Huang's individual selling stack up against other CEOs or major insiders?
Interestingly, East had his billion-dollar sale plan running. He wasn't actually the top insider seller in the third quarter.
Really? Who sold more?
The CEO of Arista Networks, Jayshree Ullal, she sold $861 million of Arista stock in Q3.
Arista Network. They make the networking gear for data centers, right? The stuff that connects all those NVIDIA GPUs together.
Exactly. So their fortunes are very closely linked. Arista's success rides heavily on the same AI data center build-out that's fueling NVIDIA.
So Ullal selling that much puts Huang's sales in perspective. Who was ahead of her?
Only Jeff Bezos at Amazon, according to the sources for that period.
Okay. Yeah, so we're seeing major selling not just at NVIDIA, but in closely related companies, too.
Precisely. It's not just one company's story.
Yeah.
And you also have to mention CoreWeave insiders.
Ah, the specialized cloud provider heavy on NVIDIA GPUs. Their IPO lockup just expired.
Right, and their insiders sold over $1 billion worth in the last quarter, too.
Wow. So NVIDIA, Arista, CoreWeave, seeing billion-dollar insider sales across that whole AI infrastructure stack, basically simultaneously.
It paints a picture, doesn't it? A concentrated wave of monetization happening right across the key players in this AI build-out.
It really does. So when you see selling quadruple year over year at NVIDIA and this wider pattern, even if it's all above board and pre-planned, you do have to wonder, don't you?
Wonder about what specifically?
Well, how much more upside do the insiders themselves think there is? Are they perhaps sensing we're near a peak, or at least taking significant chips off the table just in case?
That's definitely the tension, isn't it? On one hand, they're capitalizing on incredible demand. On the other, the scale of selling could suggest, prudence. locking in historic gains while they're there.
It's sensible personal financial planning, maybe, but it could also signal something about their view of the near-term future for the stock.
It's a delicate balance to interpret. They're realizing incredible wealth created by this unique moment.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this. We've got a company hitting these huge valuation numbers at frankly terrifying speed.
Driven by this fundamental technological need for AI processing.
And at the same time, it's generating this almost unprecedented concentration of billionaire wealth internally among its leaders and board.
Yeah, putting the source material together, the main takeaway seems clear. This AI boom is creating wealth, yes, but in a way that's incredibly fast and incredibly concentrated. The market cap explosion and the billionaire factory inside. They're really two sides of the same coin.
A coin representing perhaps a new kind of economic model driven by these tech infrastructure monopolies.
It definitely feels like we're watching a major transition play out in real time. Restructuring, almost.
Indeed. So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, building on what we've discussed from these sources.
Yeah, what should people be mulling over after hearing all this?
Well, reflect on this rapid, dense concentration of wealth. Is this Nvidia phenomenon, driven by this specific AI demand, a sign of the future?
Meaning, is this how corporate value creation will work in the AI age, funneled faster and more intensely to a smaller group at the very top?
Or is Nvidia just a unique, maybe unrepeatable outlier? A perfect storm of technology, timing, and market dynamics that we won't necessarily see replicated again and again. Something to think about.